美しく散れ。
Hi guys, welcome back to my XVS guide. Now I'm gonna review Sieghard Neo Vision Awakening. So this review gonna be in a new format, and I think from now on I will use this format for my other characters review. Okay, so let's begin for the first section, how to use Sieghard. Okay, so first of all, let you know that Sieghard is AoE physical cover tank, and he also able to give your party support. And the special thing about the normal form is he has 100% provoke on his passive, so you don't need to worry about making him into provoker. You simply need to worry about his evasion or spirit stats if you want to make him into good provoker. Okay, and he also able to buff your party with 100% earth resist, which is very nice for, let's say, dark vision if you need earth resist. And yes, he also able to support earth elemental attacker because he has 120% earth in peril. And another good thing is he able to chain with Aurel Ray, Stardust Ray, and Absolute Mirror of Equity, and all of those abilities are scaled based on his defense. It is good, but the main problem is, yes, he doesn't have any chain modifier cap or weapon damage modifier, so don't expect high damage. And maybe the most underwhelming is he only know dual cast. So yes, kind of bad. I can say you cannot make him into proper support chainer unless of course the partner is also dual caster. And he also able to give himself 90% physical or magic mitigation for only one turn, but that's useful for threshold attack. And again, if you need charm resist and your support cannot provide that, Sieghard can do that, because let's say your support only able to give you all elements resist, then yes, you can get charm resist from Sieghard. And sure, he has 50% damage mitigation. It is still useful, but I just want to remind you that you may need much higher than 50% at this point of the game. Okay, and his breaks, they are not useful anymore on this meta. So that's for Sieghard normal form. So on Brave Shift form, he is still the same like the normal form, AoE physical cover tank and a support. But the special thing about this form is he is really great when you fight against human physical attack. And yes, that's because his AoE cover ability has 80% physical mitigation against human. But even if you don't fight against human, wow, he is still very great, because on his provoke and his cover abilities, they have 75% general mitigation built on them. So yes, it is easily spammable, which make him really tanky physical attackers. Really nice. Okay, he is also still able to provide charm resist buff, but the main problem is, yes, on this form he loses his 100% passive provoke. You can still make him into 100% passive provoker, but yes, you need to give him equipment to be able to do that. Okay, and other than that, he is very strong. He has very strong self mitigation, like I said, 75%, and barrier 4500. Sure, he loses his passive provoke, but because of this 4500 barrier, it's not bad to cast it almost every turn, because this will make him really durable. And maybe the special thing about this form is he can absorb earth element when you equip him with whip. So yes, if the enemy has, like, let's say, strong physical attack, which has strong physical or magic attack which has earth element on it, then yes, Sieghard is the guy you want. But again, the main problem with this Brave Shift is you can only stay on this form for 4 turns. Okay, so make sure you kill the enemies who use that nasty single earth attack. Okay, so yes, that's how you use Sieghard. Now let's compare him to other characters, tankers. So if you take a look on these stats here, the most special thing about Sieghard is his provoke, okay? Because his provoke, 100% provoke, no tankers have this, okay? Only Sieghard from what I can remember. So this is definitely a good thing. You don't need to worry about provoke equipment. Very nice. And yes, if you pit him with Gladiolus, I can say that Sieghard is the clear winner, okay? Because yes, Sieghard has simply better mitigation for physical, for general mitigation. He has all of those things. But Gladio, sure, if you take a look here, Gladio may have better passives, but his tanking capability is pretty basic. So I don't think that is that important, okay? That's why I think Sieghard is clearly the winner if you pit him with Gladiolus. And against King Behemi, it's kind of unfair because King Behemi is real Neo-Vision tank, but King Behemi is definitely the winner here because yes, sure, Sieghard has really strong barrier and self-general mitigation, 75%. So in that case, maybe Sieghard is better, okay, because he can take care of himself. But King Behemi simply has much better support, okay. He can imbue Earth Element, imperil Earth Element better than Sieghard. And yes, of course, as a support chainer, King Behemi has triple cast and almost on all chaining families. So King Behemi is still insane characters. And don't forget all elemental resist and other supportive abilities which King Behemi has. Okay, so King Behemi, in my eyes, he is still the winner. But if you compare him with Gabran, I can say that Sieghard, maybe it will trigger some players out there, but on global, Gabran doesn't have his X+2 abilities. So I can say this, Gabran and Sieghard, I can say they are kind of close. First, let me explain, okay? Gabran has 75% general mitigation. Yes, he is good. But the good thing about Sieghard is his 75% general mitigation is built in right into his cover and provoke ability and lasts for 3 turns. So unlike other previous tankers where you need to cast 75% or better mitigation every turn, Sieghard doesn't need to do that. Okay, so that's really good for Sieghard. It will improve his survivability. And yes, my King Behemi doesn't have that 75% damage mitigation. That's why on my trial video, he really need to rely on Beatrix damage mitigation. Okay, but for Sieghard, he doesn't need to do that because he able to cast it on himself. And don't forget that Sieghard AoE mitigation buff are pretty good. Okay, so Gabran, he able to give your party like 45% physical mitigation, 45% general mitigation, but Sieghard again, he able to do that better with 50%. Remember that Sieghard able to cast that 50% general mitigation, 50% physical and magic mitigation, and extra 50% physical against human. So wow, Sieghard is pretty insane here. Okay, Sieghard is pretty good. And yes, Gabran, maybe the only thing good, better than Sieghard is, yes, Gabran has access to triple cast. And don't forget, Gabran also has defense, spirit buff, etc. But my point here is, in terms of mitigation, wow, Sieghard can rival King Behemi and Gabran with his 75% mitigation. This is amazing because usually you need to rely on someone or you need to cast it every turn, which kind of restrict your movement on battles, okay? So that's all for the comparison. Now my conclusion for Sieghard. So like I said before, he is probably the best NVA physical cover tank you can have at this point. Why I say probably? Because remember, we still have Barret from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I will make his review later and compare both of this, but I believe Sieghard is the winner. Okay, the reason why he is good is he is pretty self-sustained tank. He doesn't need much support from others because of his self-mitigation. So yes, I have used my Trials of Genie battle as an example. Okay, on that battle, you really need to have high general mitigation. And King Behemi on that battle, he kind of looks bad because of this lack mitigation, but he can still be used with the help of Beatrix, at least on my video, okay? But with the Sieghard, he can do that because he has that 75% self-mitigation. Really, guys, maybe it sounds like I keep repeating that 75% mitigation, but that's really make huge difference, okay? This is really good ability and will make your tank able to survive. So the only way they can destroy your party is, let's say, the enemy can use the attack which bypass your cover, okay? But as long as you have this 75% mitigation and defense spirit buff, your tanker really hard to die, okay? Unless of course the enemy is insanely strong. So congratulations if you have Sieghard, okay? Especially if you don't have real NVA physical tank at this point, I can say Sieghard is the tank that you can use at this point, okay? Very nice. And yes, in the future, if you don't need physical tank and pull him accidentally, do not need to worry because his Trust Master reward and STMR are pretty decent. For the Trust Master reward, it increased, wow, limit burst, limit gauge fill rate, and 30% health defense spirit. So these stats are really good for your support. Okay, so the total boost 30% health, 20% defense spirit, which means 70% stats boost. It is like STMR boost in disguise. Okay, really amazing Trust Master reward. If I can say, one of the best Trust Master reward on this game at this point. And for the STMR, it is very decent heavy shield, especially if you need or resist. This also gives you health boost. So wow, this is pretty decent. Okay, so nothing from him is bad. Okay, pretty decent character. The only downside, maybe he needs to equip Whip on Brave Shield form to get that absorb earth damage and other passives. But again, maybe you can equip Summer Whip, because Summer Whip can inflict all elemental damage, which is good when you fight against Scorn of Asura, because you need to lock some element, right? And again, Sieghard is human tank, so this is really good combination if you haven't defeated Scorn of Asura, okay? So yeah, I think that's all you need to know about Sieghard. Leave additional tips or comment on the comment section, okay? If you have any suggestion, do you like this new formatting? And yes, it is a tank. For physical DPS or magical DPS, I will talk more about rotation. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more Final Fantasy Perfect Sieghard. Bye bye guys!